were completed for their purification, according to the law of Moses, the parents of Jesus took him up to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord, just as it is written in the law of the Lord. Every male that opens the womb shall be consecrated to the Lord, and to offer the sacrifice of a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, in accordance with the dictate in the law of the Lord. Now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. This man was righteous and devout, awaiting the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. It had been revealed to him by the Holy Spirit that he should not see death before he had seen the Christ of the Lord. He came in the Spirit into the temple. And when the parents brought in the child Jesus to perform the custom of the law in regard to him, he took him into his arms and blessed God, saying, "Now, Master, you may let your servant go in peace, according to your word. For my eyes have seen your salvation, which you prepared in the sight of all the peoples, a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and glory for your people Israel." The child's father and mother were amazed at what was said about him. And Simeon blessed them and said to Mary his mother, "Behold, this child is destined for the fall and rise of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be contradicted, and you yourself a sword will pierce, so that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed." There was also a prophetess, Anna, the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years, having lived 7 years with her husband after her marriage, and then as a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshipped night and day with fasting and prayer. And coming forward at that very time, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were awaiting redemption in Jerusalem. When they had fulfilled all the prescriptions of the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Have you ever found yourself in a family gathering? You sit back and just take it all in for a moment, looking around at the characters around you. And that question comes to you: how in the world did I end up with this bunch? Now, we can say this sometimes in a negative way, those times when family is particularly challenging and trying. Or sometimes this question might come to us in a positive way, more with a sense of wonder. What did I do to deserve this loving family? Now, one way or another, it's extraordinary if we step back and think about it. The way we're born into our families, really without having any say in the matter. We come into this world, we're brought into this web of relationships that is our family, for no choosing of our own. And for us who believe in God, this should tell us something. This should strike our curiosity. Make us wonder, what is God up to by setting up life this way? Where we don't get to pick our family, but they're given to us. Why do you put me with these people? When that family over there looks so much more like the nice little image of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, where everything's peaceful with them. Why do I have to grow up with these siblings instead of just spending time with the friends of my choosing? Is it just biological chance that we end up with our families? Or is God up to something here? Has God given me this particular family as a particular gift and a particular responsibility? Now, the gift of your particular family is sometimes like that Christmas gift. Maybe as a kid with the new complex toy that has to be put together, or now with the new gadget that needs to be set up. You get this gift, and And there's so much potential there for making our life easier, or more fun, or more rich in some way. But then we look at the box, and we see those dreaded words. Some assembly required. Yes, we know we have all the components right there in front of us. All the individual parts are there. The neighbor down the street even has his up and running already. It looks great. But I know that mine won't just come together on its own. No, there's some work to do. And certainly with our families, this is the case, where there's some assembly required. And there's a whole lot of maintenance required to get this gift working in its richness, in its fullness. We know that this gift of the family, which can be such a great space of consolation and intimacy, from the very beginning, think of Cain and Abel. The family is also a place where conflict can sometimes be at its sharpest. Things can be most hurtful in the family. So this feast of the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, it's not just a time to think about the nice images and statues of the Holy Family. It's also a time to really see that ideal as a reality, as an invitation to grow in our family life. Maybe heal those areas that need to be healed, or reconcile. Because this area that can become such a space of conflict is also that gift that can become such a support, such a place of love. We always have the freedom to choose to love. This is one of the greatest freedoms we enjoy, no matter how someone else is treating you, no matter what the circumstances. There's really nothing that can stop us from responding in love. Now that means loving those people that we've chosen to invite into our lives, as a spouse or a dear friend. It also means we can choose to love those people whom we didn't choose to be a part of our life. Our parents, our siblings, these people that have been given to us. As we know, the family is a very important part of society. The church takes the family seriously. A couple months back, I'm sure you heard about the synod in Rome. Bishops and theologians coming together trying to grapple with these challenges of family life in our age. And there are, of course, the hot-button issues that get a lot of press, the nature of marriage, and how to respond lovingly and pastorally to the question of homosexuality, how to respond pastorally in a welcoming way to people who have suffered through a divorce but are still very much a life-giving part of the church. These are the big issues that we see in the press a lot. But there's also a lot of challenges to the family that maybe slip through the cracks of this larger conversation. These challenges that slip down to simmer under the surface of our relationships with each other, damaging our family lives. Maybe there are unforgiving offenses that I'm harboring from the past in some of my family. Grudges, little jealousies, little rivalries, hurtful words exchanged, or sometimes even hurtful silences when a loving word would be needed. Now these can seem like little things in the big picture of all the problems in the world today. All we want to do as Christians to better this world. But these little things, oh, how they can poison our relationships. How they can poison our family lives. And this is really the stuff of our life, these everyday relationships. It's good to be attentive to these little things. In the feast of the Holy Family, it's maybe a good time to evaluate relationships. So if you owe someone an apology, maybe the Feast of the Holy Family is a good opportunity to swallow that pride and try to mend the relationship. Or maybe close your heart to a family member because you think that person owes you an apology. And you might be right. Maybe the Feast of the Holy Family is a time to just open up a little bit of space in your heart for that person. even if the apology never comes. Or, if you're so blessed, you have no idea what I'm talking about right now with all these problems, and your family life is always perfectly harmonious, then the Feast of the Holy Family is a good time. Just give an authentic thank you. Thank you to God, and thank you to your family members who surround you. You know that our time together is short. Every now and then we have flashes of this reality. We realize that our life is short today. And in the end, we'll never regret having gone out of our way to make that extra gesture of love, to be the one to start the reconciliation if that's needed in a certain relationship, to show gratitude, to build bonds of communion. This is part of that assembly that's required with this gift. This is the maintenance that keeps the gift of the family working in its fullness and its richness. Otherwise, without this assembly, without this maintenance, the individual parts and pieces will just lie scattered on the living room floor. They never really come together and work. In the larger picture, we as Christians are called and invited to be a real force of unity in this world. People who build bonds of charity and mutual forgiveness. It is possible to live this way. Through the help and the grace of the Holy Family, through those other good examples that we have in our lives, we can forge these qualities. First, in our families. And then let this spread to all the rest of those around us. And really build those bonds of love and communion in the world, as we as Christians are called to do.